Fine. So, sir, if you don't mind, you can come a little bit closer so that this before going ahead and pulling the coolers from inside. Okay, so let me do a quick roll call and we'll start. So we have Ashar, Isha, Kian, Mishika, then Jivika, Om, and who is with name? Oh, that is Jivika. So who is okay? Who is Nimisha? That is Sanvi, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. So what is that we are going to do today? I had put a topic in the group and I forgot about it. So let me quickly recollect what is that I promised you guys. Today we are starting with geometry. Some surprised faces. What is that we go to geometry? Let's start from beginning. Make shapes. Okay. Why do we learn geometry? What is the purpose of doing it? And Harnoor, you can move a little bit to this side, and I would request her. She also move a little bit here. Okay, so that way eye contact gets better for me. Why do we even need to bother about learning geometry? Tell me. Give me some practical examples. Don't do it just because somebody is forcing you to learn the subject. Okay? That's not the idea. You will not enjoy it. Can we live even for 2 days without geometry? Let's assume everything around us which is related to geometry disappears. Can we survive? No, why? You have no houses, you have no doors, you have no cars, you have no wheels. You have no teacher with round face even. Yeah? So, again, jokes apart, what I'm trying to say is we are surrounded by things which are only geometry. Take geometry out of your life will become pretty much like space. Yeah? No shapes. Yes, Kian, saying something. Go for it.
Nothing, sir. I'm still reading.
Okay. Om, you want to say something? Okay.
Sir, also geometry can be used for building and design, architects and workers use geometry to make stable bridges and houses.
Okay. So we have a new kid in the class, and that kid, I don't know your name, okay? I know your brother's name, that is Gitesh. So what is your name? Say it one more time. Say it one more time. Suryash. Okay. And I'm very bad when it comes to remembering names. So if I mess with your name a couple of times, attribute that to my age. Old people keep forgetting things. Okay? You have to tell me 2-3 times, I'll be fine. Suryash. Alright. So welcome to the class, Suryash. Yes, Bishika, you're saying something. Go for it. Right. So in one line, you guys are not learning geometry because you want to get 100% or somebody is forcing you to learn geometry. It's a everyday routine. Everything around us is some shape, some type of shape that we end up dealing with. Now think about it. I'm just giving you guys one more doing small preaching, and then we'll start with the subject. Now look at this. Imagine I was trying to be a teacher and there was no board. I become irrelevant. This board is what? What shape? Rectangle? Is it rectangle? Yeah. So that is in one line. Geometry is about all the shapes that we see in our surrounding, and geometry, if you look at as one word, This is made of two words. Geo is a short form from Greek language, which means shapes, and metry comes from measurement. So geometry is all about measuring shapes. So if we say that we know geometry, that means we are saying that we know how to measure different types of shapes, different types of objects, and that is where the whole journey begins. So I will sound a little bit boring in the beginning, as I always do, because you will come across a lot of things that you are already aware of, and I'll keep repeating it. But then, as it moves down the path, you will see why I was doing that. So, which number comes first? Number 1? Yeah? So, Amog is already bored in the first class itself. So, the number 1. So, with respect to number 1, there are 3 shapes that we come across. Let me check who knows what these 3 shapes are called. Oh, you'll be my second choice. Let me see who is the first one before you. Nisika will be my second choice as well, because I have talked to Nisika about these shapes before. Anybody? What are these shapes called? Line? I'm sorry? Yeah, be confident. You guys have to take me head on when it comes to concept. Whatever you know it. You say this is what I know. And if there's a gap, I will bridge the gap. Don't worry about it. So you both said line, you said added ray. Which one is line, which one is ray?
The line is the
Top one?
and the bottom one is the
Bottom one is ray.
well, the middle one is the line.
Middle? No. Middle one is called line segment. See, the line is a sub-object which doesn't have fixed length. Line is an object that depicts direction. It doesn't depict. So if you look at this carefully now, this is line which doesn't have any starting point or any point. This only represents direction. This direction, that direction. You have direction on 2 sides. This is line. When you take a piece of the line, meaning a fixed length, starting point, ending point, this is called line segment. Piece of a line or segment of a line. And when you have this thing starting from one place, it's like if I turn on my phone and turn on the torch on my phone, you will see the light starting from here and going in a certain direction based on which way I have kept it. So this is starting from this place and going in a certain direction depending on the intensity or power of my phone's camera. This is called ray. So now if you look at the difference, line is a direction, line segment is a piece of a line, ray has one starting point and direction on the other side. So if you ever say that this is my line which has a length of 10 centimeters, you are mathematically wrong, because lines don't have fixed length. You cannot measure the length of a line. Yeah? You measure the length of a line segment. Yep. Isha, you wanted to add something to that? No? Okay. So we just saw the number 1. Let's go from number 1 to number 2. And when you look at number 2, meaning we are talking about 2 objects coming together. And everybody keep your video on. No hide-and-seek game. Kian, Suryas and Ashar. Everybody keep your video on. No turning it off, please. So we go from number 1 to number 2. That is when we come across things which have 2 elements to it. And what do we call them? 2D shapes. 2D shapes. There is nothing called 2D shape.
Well, yeah, but
Shape comes into existence when it is closed. Yes, Isha. I'm saying this is called angles. When you have two lines or two rays or two line segments meeting each other with some relationship. So this is the relationship. Let's consider these two hands or two line segments. Right now, if one hand is Jackson on the other hand, what is the relationship? Both the hands are very close, very close. If they are meeting at one point, they are making a very small angle. Now the angle is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah? So, angles are nothing but it is something that represents the relationship between two lines or two sides or two rays, whatever it is. Yeah? When the lines are very close to each other, this angle is called small. Anything which is small is cute. Acute angle. Small angles are acute angle. Now look at the floor of this house and the wall. Right angle. It looks right. If my floor is like this and my wall is like this, it doesn't look right. It looks right when you see that making a certain angle. That is called right angle. And we'll look at mathematically. So something like this is called right angle. When my wall is falling on my neighbor's wall, obtuse angle. Acute angle, right angle, obtuse angle. Mathematically, these are all the angles less than 90 degree. This is when the angle is equal to 90 degree, and when this angle is greater than 90 degree. Greater than 90 degree. Acute angle, right angle, and obtuse angle. This one is obtuse angle, this is right angle, and this is acute angle. That you guys already know. I'm just doing more of a recap. Okay? Is everybody okay with me? No complaints? Okay. Now, you can further look beyond it. When you have two line segments converting or repainting another straight line, meaning you had one line segment from here to here, another line segment from here to here, but when you put them together such that they create another straight line, it's called straight angle also. Yeah? When two line segments make a 180 degree angle or a straight line, they are called straight angle. So there are primarily four varieties of angles that you will come across. Everybody okay so far? Sanvi, Suryash? Yeah, okay? Okay. Isha? Everybody okay? Om? Alright. And remember this. I'm just now stitching a story, okay? It will get very intense. Right now we are looking at the tip of the iceberg, okay? This is your jump start, okay? Let's move on to the next one. After 2 comes what? 3. That is when we start dealing with triangles. Yeah? What are the different types of triangles that you guys are aware of? Isosceles, okay. What else? Equilateral. Right angle, okay. Isosceles. I have a big problem pronouncing this name, okay. I have tried my best for last 2 years. I'm still struggling. But anyways, I'll try learning that from you guys. Isosceles, okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. So acute angle triangle, right angle triangle, then obtuse angle triangle. So basically there are 6 types of triangles. Now before I go talk about it, let me create a story for you guys which will stick with you for much longer time. Now we are coming across the first shape, that is a closed shape. This is not a closed shape, okay? Somebody can walk in and walk out without any barricade. This is when you come across the first barricade. So triangles are the first shape or first polygon. Kritika here. Triangles are the first shape of the polygon when you start dealing with a closed shape. Okay? Now we will get a little bit more serious about things. Gone are the days when we were just doing the definition. Now we are paying more attention to what are the things or the properties about every shape that will matter to us. What are the things that you see here? There are three sides, yeah, in a triangle. And then you see there are three angles also in the triangle. Yeah? So all our theory, understanding, concept will revolve around these two key properties, sides and angles. Okay? Now let's look at it. So basically our differentiating factor would be sides or angles to figure out what are the different types of triangles we deal with. Okay? So look at this. Let's say sides and let's say angles. Based on sides, there will be three types of angles. Based on angles, there will be three types of angles. Let's say when I am dealing with a triangle where all the angles are less than 90 degrees or all the angles are acute angles. This is called acute angle triangle. Okay? Mishika, there is no question asked right now. I will come to you when there is a question to ask. That's okay, done. So first one is, if I am going by angles, when all the angles are acute angles, all the angles are less than 90 degrees, it's called acute angle triangle. When one of the angle is 90 degrees, this is what Darsh said, right angle triangle. Yeah, there's one angle which is right angle, that's why it's called right angle triangle. And when one of the angles is greater than 90 degrees or is obtuse angle, it's called obtuse angle triangle. Am I making sense so far? Little bit? Okay. Okay. Isha, Om, Sandy, Jivika, everybody okay? See, I am not teaching you guys. I am just creating story for you all. Okay? If somebody asks you the same question that I asked 5 minutes ago, what are different types of triangles? And you guys were scrambling to recollect some of the names. Oh, right angle triangle. Somebody said acute angle triangle. Somebody said obtuse angle triangle. Somebody said equilateral triangle. I am creating or stitching a story for you all, saying that if somebody asks you the same question, you will say, okay, you know what? Triangles can be based on sides or based on angles. If you go by the definition of the triangle based on angles, you have three triangles: acute angle triangle, right angle triangle, and obtuse angle triangle. If you go by the sides as a criteria, you are looking at three types of triangles. When all the sides are equal, equilateral triangle. Okay? When only two sides are same, now my struggle starts. I saw, what do you call it? Isosceles, okay. Isosceles triangle, okay. And then, when all the sides are of different length, that is called scalene triangle. Scalene. Scalene. Yep. First one is equilateral triangle. When all the three sides are equal, this one, this one. So the two charts. So this is the differentiation or categorization of triangles based on side. This side it is talking about the categorization of triangles based on angles. So based on sides, you have three types: equilateral, isosceles, and scalene triangles. When all the three sides are equal, equilateral. When two sides are same, isosceles. And when all the sides are different, scalene. Does it make sense? Yeah? I know 90% of you guys already know it. I'm just connecting the dots, okay? And we'll go deeper into it. So we went from 1 to 2. When we were talking about 1, we talked about 3 things: lines, rays, and line segments. We went from 1 to 2. That is when we talked about angles. We saw different sizes of angle: less than 90 degree, acute angle; equal to 90 degree, right angle; more than 90 degree, obtuse angle. Yeah. And then straight angle also. Making sense or not? And if I'm getting anybody stressed out, let me know. I will add dad jokes in between. Yeah. Kritika has heard of dad jokes from your parents. Okay. No, so see, the idea is this. When you're learning something, you have to involve yourself into that so that you enjoy it. If you're learning just because some old man is teaching you something, the fun part is lost. Okay? You're not going to argue with me, you're not going to debate with me, and you'll not be able to get the maximum out of what I learned. Okay, so coming back to, so we went from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and when we went from 2 to 3, that is when we came across the first closed shape called triangles, and we saw, you can do it after the class, but that's okay. Let's not worry about that during this class. Okay? So when we went from 2 to 3, that is when we came across the first closed shape called triangles, and we just talked about the basic differentiation based on size or based on angles. Yeah. Now we will go from 3 to 4, and which shape we are leaning towards? Quadrilaterals. That's the parent family, okay? Quadrilaterals. Again, you will see lot of words borrowed from Greek, French. Quadrilaterals. Okay. This stands for fold. Again, another Greek word. And laterals, it stands for side. You would have heard about bilateral meetings, two-sided discussions. Okay? Trilateral summit, 3 nations meeting together. So lateral stands for side. Quadri is a short form for 4. So 4-sided. We are talking about shapes with 4 sides. And that is where you will come across. I heard square. What else? What are the other quadrilaterals that you guys are aware of? You sound sad. Sound happy. Yeah, okay. Mishika, add one more. Everybody adds one more. What is that? Rectangle, quadrilateral, rectangle, square that I have heard. Okay, yes, Kritika. Say that diamond, okay. Ohm, add one more. Unmute and add. Ohm, go ahead. Trapezoid. Sanvi, add one more.
Which ones have been said?
So rectangle, square, trapezoid, and diamond, which is rhombus. Parallelogram, Isha, add one more. Kite, okay. Mishika, you have to raise your hand, your hands down. Did we miss anything? We talked about rectangles, squares, parallelogram, trapezoid, rhombus, and kite. Are you missing something? Okay. Anybody? Are you missing something? No? No. Rectangle, square, trapezoid, parallelogram, kite, and rhombus. Did we miss anything? Now, Suryas, question to you. What is the difference between rectangle and square? No. Wait. So, it's a question for Suryas. What is the difference between rectangle and square?
The difference between the rectangle and square is that
No, I could not hear you. One more time.
Rectangles don't have all of their sides equal, and squares have all of those.
Okay. Okay. Now I will pick. So everybody hands down. I will randomly pick name and ask you to describe it. Okay. So rectangle and square. Surya gave me some definition. Om and Mishika hands down. I'll come to you guys one by one. So somebody in the class has to explain what is the difference between a kite and a rhombus. Okay. So I will take two answers. One is Isha. No, don't start speaking without raising your hand. No, don't do that. Otherwise, only one child will give all the answers. Whoever wants to give the answer has to raise hand first, then we'll start. My question was, what is the difference between rhombus and kite? So I am picking two names, Isha and Amog. So Amog, tell me what is the difference between rhombus and kite?
They're like the same.
I'm sorry?
They're the same.
They are the same. Isha, do you agree? Kite and rhombus same? Okay. So let me do one thing. Since we talked about the difference between rectangle and a square and kite and a rhombus, let's look at it. See, this guy is already tired of me. He's not responding. So, Om has down, but I'll come to you, okay? So, when we talk about rectangle and square, this is a rectangle. This screen is a rectangle. What do you see? The opposite sides are equal and parallel. What do you mean by parallel sides? They don't meet. If I am putting my hands like this as two sides, if I stretch it on either direction, they will not meet. Yep.
So the reason why they're parallel is because like whenever you do this, they don't cross.
They don't cross. And other way is the distance between the two lines or two sides will remain the same no matter how far you extend them. So if I have these two lines as parallel lines, anywhere you measure the distance, the perpendicular distance between the two lines, that will not change, that will remain fixed. If you see the perpendicular distance between them reducing, I will not dare to call them parallel lines. Yeah? So the most important criteria for parallel lines is the perpendicular distance between them remains fixed. Okay? Now let's come to rectangle and square. So if I say this is a rectangle and I will choose a different color. Come on. I'll use a different color and draw another shape and I will call it as square. What is the difference you observe here? Between, in the rectangle, your opposite sides, this one and this one are parallel and equal. Meaning if you extend these two sides, wherever you go, how far you go, whether you cross my neighbor's house and my neighbor's house also, the distance between the two lines will remain the same. Okay? Either direction. And so opposite sides are equal and parallel to each other. So is the case with these two guys. So these two are parallel and equal, these two are parallel and equal. At every angle is 90 degrees. Okay? This is rectangle. Now, square is another flavor of rectangle. So here also the opposite sides are equal. But actually all the sides are equal. Opposite sides are equal by default. But each of the side has the same length. So you can call a square as a rectangle also because it meets the property of a rectangle. but it's a special type of rectangle where all the sides are of same length. So opposite sides are parallel equal, every angle is 90 degree. Only additional thing is all the sides are equal. Okay? So rectangle and square, the only difference between them is rectangles have only opposite sides equal, squares have all sides equal. Yep.
Doesn't square meet rectangles criteria and rectangles and square criteria?
Rectangles don't meet square criteria.
Yeah,
So
so
they'll have only
squares
one.
are rectangles, but rectangles are not squares.
Squares are rectangles, but rectangles are not square. You're right. That would be another way of looking at it. Yeah. So look at the similarity. Here also opposite sides are equal and parallel. Here also opposite sides are equal and parallel. Here also all the angles 90 degree. Here also all the angles 90 degree. In this case, all sides are not same length. Here you have all sides of same length. That's it. So this is a very special category of rectangle, you can say. Yeah. Now going to rhombus, and if you guys are thinking that what kind of preaching going on, this is just setting the context. We have not delved deeper into what we'll do with mathematical side of it. We are just scratching the surface to make sure that our understanding with respect to the shapes and its properties are rock solid, so that when we go to dealing with deriving formulas and all, we don't have any confusion. Okay? So whatever we are doing now, it is the foundation that we are working on. Okay? Now, rhombus. This is a rhombus. And this is a kite. If I ever say rhombus and kite are same, that means it's time for me to get my eyes checked, which I do every year. Okay, no, again, jokes apart. I'm not picking on anybody. What I'm saying is, there's a very clear difference between rhombus and kite, and there are some similarities also. Rhombus is nothing but a squeezed square. I had a square, let's say, like this. I had a square, okay, and if I squeeze it from these two corners, when I squeeze it from two corners, what happened was this became thinner and taller. It became something like this. Okay? Meaning the length of all the sides were same. That remains the case. Here also all the four sides are same length. But the only difference between a square and a rhombus is the angles are not 90 degree anymore. You have two angles which are more than 90 degree, you have two angles which are less than 90 degree. So I literally took a square and squeezed it from two corners such that it became thinner and taller. So this angle of 90 degree, this became greater than 90 degree. So when I pressed it from two corners, wherever I was applying the force, that became more than 90 degree, and these two other corners which got extended are less than 90 degree. And that is not important when it comes to knowing the property, isn't it?
The kite is like different than the rhombus because it has like the same top part, so it's like stretched down.
Exactly. So that's the main difference actually. So I'm coming to that. Okay? So here, what I'm trying to say is, a rhombus is nothing but a squeezed square. I'm emphasizing that statement over and over again because I want you guys to remember one thing, that it is a distorted form of a square. Meaning your sides are of same length, angles are not 90 degree. So there are some unique properties of a rhombus that you guys need to be aware of. There is something called diagonals of a rhombus. Meaning when you join the opposite corners of a rhombus, these are called diagonals. This is diagonal 1, this is diagonal 2, or this is diagonal 1, this is diagonal 2. The two opposite corners of the rhombus, when you join them, they have a very unique property. They meet at 90 degree and they are called perpendicular bisector of each other. What do I mean by that? The two diagonals are perpendicular to each other and they bisect each other, meaning they split each other into half. Meaning this guy, if this guy is in red color, let's say, if this diagonal is in red color and the other diagonal is in yellow color, The red diagonal splits the yellow diagonal to two equal halves. And yellow diagonal also takes revenge and splits this diagonal to two equal halves. And they meet at 90 degrees. So if you remember the word perpendicular bisector, that is enough. That tells the whole thing. The rhombus have a unique property that the two diagonals of the rhombus are perpendicular bisector of each other, meaning they split each other into two halves and they meet at 90 degrees. Does it sound okay to everybody? Remember this perpendicular bisector, one term will help us derive the formula for area of a rhombus. Okay? When we come to that, I'll show that to you guys. I'm just telling you guys to remember the property part of it. Like in square, you know all the sides are same length and every angle is 90 degree. Here in this case, these angles are not 90 degree because it's a distorted form of the square. But the unique property of the rhombus is when you join the opposite corners, which are called diagonals, they split each other into half and they meet at 90 degrees. Yeah? Sure? Isha, Nishika, Om, Sanvi, everybody okay? Suryas, Ashar, Kian. Jeevika has been very quiet today. I hope you guys have no complaints with me because I'm teaching you guys baby stuff. This is not baby stuff. This is a repetitive job every teacher has to do. I can start from the word, let's prove the formula for area of a rhombus. I can do that on any given day. Even if you wake me up from deep asleep, I can prove the formula for area of a rhombus or trapezoid or pi, whatever it is. But I'm just trying to state this as a story for you guys so that you can relate to it and extend your knowledge to keep on adding to it. You don't learn things in bits and pieces and then struggle for the rest of your life to connect the dots. Yeah? So it should go into your minds as a story. So we talked about rhombus. Rhombus has all sides equal. Angles are not 90 degrees, but when you join the opposite corners, these are called diagonals. They meet each other at 90 degrees. Here they are meeting at 90 degrees, and they are perpendicular bisector, meaning they split each other into half. Okay? Now going to kite. The top two sides are of same length, the bottom two sides are of same length. That's the difference. Here all four sides are same. Here only these two sides and these two sides are same. And here also you have the same diagonal thing. But the only thing is the diagonals meet at 90 degrees. Here they are not a perpendicular bisector. Okay? So I'm just helping you guys to know the properties because we are going to use these properties. And I'm sorry to say that I'm not going to give you guys formula, I'm going to derive the formula for you guys. If I say the area of a rhombus is diagonal 1 to diagonal 2 divided by 2, I'm going to actually prove it and show you guys how. So, a reminder for everybody here is, if I ever give you guys any formula, say okay, this is a formula for this, don't accept it. You have all the reasons and rights to ask why. Yes, ma'am.
You know what, how you said like in the middle for the kite and reaching 90 degrees? Like what's the difference between?
So the difference is this. Look at this object and look at this object. Here it's more symmetric. All the four sides are same. So in this case, these diagonals are bisecting each other. So this guy here and here it's equal length. Here and here it's equal length. Look at this one. These two are probably same length, but this guy and this guy are not the same length, right? So here these are also diagonals because they are joining the opposite corners of the kite. But they meet at 90 degrees because of the symmetry of the shape, but they are not perpendicular bisectors here. Okay? Is everybody okay or somebody is getting tired of those teachers? No? Everybody okay? So Isha gave the thumbs up as soon as I said somebody is tired of the old teacher. Is that true? I'm just kidding. I'm just making sure that you guys Don't get stressed out when I talk too much. No, but I am just pulling a leg. You guys are my babies, okay? Don't worry about it. Okay? Alright. So, we saw the difference between rhombus and kite. After today's class, I hope even in your wildest dream, you will not think of these two being same, right? They are not same. No, again, I'm just making sure that this gets imprinted in our mind. Yeah? And I'm giving the reasoning also. This guy is coming from a squeezing of a square. This guy is coming from some different place. So there is no similarity here. That's what I'm trying to call out. Okay? What is the difference between trapezoid and a parallelogram? Who can tell me that? I'll give chance to other kids also. I'll come to you. Okay? I'll give two chances. So Sanvi and Anahita. Okay? Anahita came from nowhere. She was hiding. All of a sudden I see her face popping up. Okay, so Anahita and Sanvi. Can you guys, I'll go one by one. So Anahita, tell me what is the difference between parallelogram and a trapezoid?
A parallelogram has two sides, two pairs of same left sides, but a trapezoid has like two different bases of different sides and only both of them equal sides.
Okay. Sanvi, what will be your definition, beta? Tell me what is the difference.
I would say that I agree with what she just said. I think instead of that, parallelogram rather than sides, both of them are parallel to each other, and the trapezoid only the top and bottom is parallel, and the other ones like go intersecting there instead of like on one side.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
This is like not like math related. Do you have a water bottle?
I'm sorry, beta?
Water bottle?
Water bottle? Oh, yes. Never even hesitate to ask for it. You need it? Everybody needs? More, give you water? No? Okay. Alright. So, now we are trying to understand the difference between parallelogram and a trapezoid. So, Sanvi and Anahita covered it already. They both talked about it. Amol, you heard both of them. Can you crunch it and give me a much summarized view of the difference between the two? Okay, so you will not say two parallel lines, you will say two pairs of parallel lines. Yeah? So again, this is something that comes with age. And you guys are much younger than me. So somebody like me who's getting more picky about the statements that we choose. That is because I'm trying to make sure that you guys are crystal clear about, see, this doesn't look like a parallelogram by any means. Let me borrow help from this guy. Okay. Or let me draw a trapezoid here. So this is a parallelogram, this is a trapezoid. What is the difference? What is happening with parallelogram? Parallelogram has opposite sides parallel and equal. Opposite sides parallel and equal. So this one and this one are equal and parallel. This one and this one are equal and parallel. Trapezoid has only one pair of parallel sides or one pair of parallel but unequal sides. I am being very explicit here. Trapezoid has one pair of parallel but unequal sides. Because in case I have one pair of parallel and equal sides, the other two sides will become parallel and equal any which way. So to keep the parallelogram and trapezoid separate, trapezoid has a very unique property of one and only one pair of parallel but unequal sides. If these two sides become equal, you will see it transforming into parallelogram only. So that unequal is a very important word here. Does it sound reasonable to you guys? See, Om is already half asleep because of me. Yeah? No? Okay. Alright. So basically, now comes the question. This is a parallelogram and this is also a parallelogram. But this was rectangle, isn't it? Just 10 minutes ago I said this is rectangle. Now I'm changing my plan and saying this is a rectangle, this is a parallelogram and this is a parallelogram as well. So parallelogram is a wider range as parent, meaning a parallelogram will be a rectangle for sure. When the opposite sides are parallel and equal and every angle is 90 degree, then also it's a parallelogram. But there could be other parallelograms where the opposite sides are parallel and equal, but the angles are not 90 degree. So parallelogram comprises of shapes which are parallel, which have parallel and equal opposite sides, angle not 90 degree as well as angle 90 degree. When the angles are 90 degree, they are rectangles. If not, they are just parallelograms. So basically, I am saying parallelogram is a group of two shapes. When all angles 90 degree, when all angles equal to 90 degree, when angles not equal to 90 degree. Look at this one. This is where its opposite sides are parallel and equal and every angle is 90 degree. And here opposite sides are parallel and equal but the angles are not 90 degree. So both the categories are parallelogram. When the angles are 90 degree, it is also called rectangle. This is just a parallelogram. Yeah, makes sense? So parallelogram is a wider range. It's a superset above rectangles. Yeah. Anybody sleepy yet? No? Yeah, you're sleepy? Okay, fine with that. You also sleepy? See, that is the what do you call, the unfortunate part of being a teacher. Teacher can do his best to keep the kids awake. Sometimes the teacher gets boring. So that's okay. So let me wake you guys up. We talked about basic shapes and this was a fun activity. Now we are going to go deeper into it. And the first thing is congruence. What is that you know about congruence? Congruence is one magic word that will change our lives for next few classes. What is congruence? Yes, Isha.
Like we set this on that like are the same size or adjacent to each other.
Okay, that is one definition. Who else can define congruence in the simplest possible way? Assuming your teacher is not very intelligent. So give me a very simple definition. Yes, Anahita. What is that? The same. Now Anahita has learned that her teacher is not intelligent. She is picking the right word which aligns with my level of intelligence. Okay? She is saying the same. So, to keep it simple and understandable for all of us, including me, congruence is nothing but the most cryptic way of saying same. When I say congruent, it is nothing but same. If I say two shapes are congruent, I am just trying to flex my English skill. Congruent means same. Now, with respect to geometry, if you say two shapes are congruent, what do you mean by that? we are saying that they have each and every property matching. If I bluff with you guys and say, you know what, this one and this one are congruent, would you believe it? No. And you might end up believing it. You will say, okay, fine, I'll assume, I'll agree with you that these two are same. They are congruent. Prove me their properties are same. If you can prove that the properties are same, I'll agree with you. Okay? That will be your argument. So, in geometry world, if we say two things are congruent, there is no subjectivity around it. If I say two triangles are congruent, you are saying, okay, fine. If they are congruent, meaning this and this matching, this and this matching, this side and this side matching, this angle matching, second angle matching, third angle matching. If everything is matching, then only I will agree that these are congruent. Be it for triangles, be it for rectangles, be it for quadrilaterals, be it for trapezoids, be it for circles. Any two shape, if you ever dare to say they are congruent, we are essentially saying they have all matching properties. Yeah? Amor? Yeah? You will not agree for anything less. If I say two triangles are congruent, you'll say, okay, fine. Tell me, show me all the properties matching or not. Yeah? I know Krutika is trying to tell me that class is almost over. I know that. We have 3 more minutes to go. Alright? So, is everybody okay with that? So, you guys can keep on using the word congruence. That will keep coming to you all. And in the simplest way, if you look at it, congruence means same. If you ever say any two shapes being congruent, you are talking and saying that the two shapes are exact copy of each other. They have each and every property matching. So what we are going to do is, we are going to talk about congruence of triangles. So for all of you, till you guys are in 8th grade, I will only talk about the property. Once you go to, or the usage part of it. When you guys go to 9th grade or high school, that is when I will prove this formula of congruence also. These are called theorems of congruence or formulas of congruence, which dictates that under what circumstances two triangles will be congruent. And there are 4 theorems altogether. One says S, side, side, side. I'll describe that. Okay? Second theorem says side, angle, side. Third theorem says angle, side, angle. And fourth theorem says RHS. So these are the 4 theorems of congruence. These are the 4 means or methods to prove that the two triangles are congruent to each other. Now look at it. Why we are even bothering to learn about these theorems? These theorems are like short form to prove the congruence of triangles quickly. If I have to prove this triangle and this triangle, if I have to prove that these two triangles are congruent, what essentially I have to do, I have to map the 3 sides and 3 angles. 6 things to validate. Look at these theorems. 3 things: side, 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 angle, sides, angle, side, angle, RHS. So this makes our job easier. Okay? I'm sorry? RHS, R stands for right angle triangle. So this theorem is specific to the right angle triangle, which says, if they, I'll decode all of them. Okay? I'll talk about that in the next class. Make sure that I break it down and make you guys understand this. But what I'm trying to say is, if you go by the basic definition of congruence, it says that each and every property has to match. These are the methods to the madness, which makes our job easier in a much shorter, less effort intensive way, by using some correlation between the properties of the shapes. Yeah. So I have just created the excitement here. Okay. I did not talk about it because this is our motivation for the next class. Alright? Keep congruence in mind. Congruence is nothing but same. Why same or how same is what we will talk about in the next class. Yeah? Everybody okay? Everybody sleepy? Make sure that you guys have a good dinner before you go to sleep. Please, okay? I did my best to make you guys fall asleep, but we'll make it in the next class. Alright, have fun. Bye bye.